The state of the magic market and the $20,000 gig. Las Vegas has a long tradition of residencies by leading artists, particularly musicians, and now a growing group of high-profile magicians. One of the earliest musical stars who catapulted to fame using this method was Liberace, who was making $50,000 a week in 1955. Dubbed Mr. Showmanship, Liberace would thrill audiences with his impressively staged entrances and exits, expert piano playing, all while flashing his extra-large diamond-studded rings and commenting to the audience, "I hope you like 'em, you bought 'em." Elvis Presley soon followed, and in one inspired streak played 636 consecutive and sold-out performances at the International and the Hilton. The first ensemble effort to achieve major success was the Rat Pack, who held sway over the Sands Copper Room. Although this was an informal group which played for a short amount of time, members of the group became popular cultural icons. The star-studded entertainers in this group included Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Joey Bishop, and Peter Lawford, each of whom could command record audiences on their own. Lawford was also President John F. Kennedy's brother-in-law, and the president himself was a frequent visitor. Their impromptu events in Las Vegas would attract high rollers to the casinos at short notice, and they had an immediate impact on multiple streams of tourist revenues, starting with gambling. The Rat Pack also starred in several Hollywood movies including Ocean's 11, Sergeants 3, and Robin and the Seven Hoods. Collectively, with the Count Basie Orchestra playing in the background, they took Vegas by storm and are considered till today to be the original drivers of the entertainment brand of Las Vegas itself. Fast-forwarding to more contemporary times, the most successful performer in Vegas, Wayne Newton, has played thousands of times over his career, while Celine Dion, who started her residency in 2003, had played more than 700 shows by 2007 and sold $400 million worth of tickets. Other well-known names like Elton John, take home of $500,000 per show, and Mariah Carey, $330,000 per show, make up the ever-increasing cast of musical talent that calls Vegas home. Siegfried and Roy arrived on the Las Vegas scene in 1967, debuting at the Stardust in Lido de Paris. They went on to create and star in one of the most popular and successful shows, and were also the first to put magic firmly on the entertainment map. A number of top performers in magic today can thank Las Vegas for their fame and fortunes. Residencies are attractive for the casinos, which have now morphed into all-purpose resorts where gambling is just one of the many activities on offer. The resorts do not need to spend additional money on promotion, as many of these performers are established brands with a strong fan base. They serve as anchor tenants in flagship properties and drive room occupancy, as well as spending on merchandising, retail and restaurants, thus optimizing the use of every square foot of the space within the property. For the performers, a long-term residency gives them the ability to set down roots, raise families, and not have to deal with the hassle of constant travel. The proximity of Los Angeles and Hollywood are a further incentive to the big-name performers who also work in film or TV. The magic market today is constituted by a range of performers, from the superstars who rake in millions every year, to individual acts who may perform part-time and for whom magic may not be a primary source of income. Several household names dominate the list of headliners. Until recently, it was hard to obtain detailed information on earnings and the scale of individual operations. First, in 2017, and then again in 2018, Forbes magazine published a list of the world's top magicians based on a more in-depth analysis. The key findings from these reports are presented below. I then discuss how the market gets further fragmented as we move down the line, as well as the typical sources of income for magicians. All the data presented in this section is from public domain sources, including surveys, newspaper reports, and websites. While the size of the magic audience is by no means comparable to that of music, we can still get an instructive look at the state of big-name magic by considering its top performers and their typical activities and revenues. Not surprisingly, many of them are based in Las Vegas for a good part of the year. Las Vegas has thus played an instrumental role in creating a market for big-name magic, and also a continued role for magic in the entertainment economy, both locally and worldwide. By the end of 2018, Las Vegas was expected to host over 42 million visitors, of which around 6.6 million were convention attendees, as per data from the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. Of these, nearly 16% of the visitors were international, 21% were first-time visitors, and almost 38% were millennials. Over the past 2 decades, as the profile of visitors underwent significant changes, the gambling revenues in Vegas, which used to account for nearly 60% of tourist revenues, has fallen to around 35%. By the end of summer 2018, major casino operators reported declines in revenues per available room, an industry metric used to assess the profitability of Vegas casinos. In parallel, related metrics like room occupancy as well as convention attendees were also down. Convention attendees, for example, are less likely to gamble as much as other visitors, and also contribute more to revenues from dining and entertainment. A number of factors have driven this change. As David Schwartz, director of the Gaming Lab at the University of Nevada at Las Vegas, explained to me, Las Vegas and Reno were traditionally considered the prime destinations for gamblers, but that is no longer the case. A proliferation of gaming options around the United States means that people don't have to go to Vegas to gamble. In fact, nearly 20% of visitors to Vegas don't gamble at all. Schwartz points out that the design of the casinos themselves have changed in response to the changing demand factors. Previously, they looked like big air-conditioned boxes focused purely on gaming. Now the design has been flipped inside out, with a number of options adjacent to the gambling. These include luxury shopping, fine restaurants, and other retail activity. Prime examples include the Link, Caesars Entertainment, and the area around the New York 2 area, MGM Grand Resorts. Further, the changing financial structure of building casinos, where the cost has ballooned to the billions of dollars from a few hundreds of millions. This means that there is a greater premium being placed on non-gambling revenue options right from the beginning phases of these projects. What has changed despite the continuing declines in gambling revenues in Las Vegas is that the entertainment sector has taken up the slack, resulting in blockbuster shows by leading names, and the increased willingness of promoters and impresarios to invest in new talent. Big-name magic shows have been direct beneficiaries of these trends. As far as the casinos and resorts are concerned, there is a lot more competition for wallet share of the consumer, with an intense focus on understanding where they stop, where they eat, and what kind of shows and entertainment they may patronize. Serious fans may plan an entire trip to Las Vegas based on a single show they plan to see, Celine Dion, David Copperfield, or Penn and Teller, for instance. However, data from the Las Vegas Convention Authority shows that the vast majority of tourists usually decide where they will eat or on entertainment options only when they are in Vegas, and frequently on the day of the show itself. As Vegas continues to attract more diverse audiences, there is an immense appetite for an equally varied menu of entertainment options. Alongside live music, magic has become one of the mainstays and prime beneficiaries of these trends, and the steady commercial rise of many of the leading practitioners needs to be seen with this in mind.